Hi everyone. While I'm waiting for some tools to turn up to get some bricklaying done for the shed build, I've got a quick video today on some things I had to overcome with the rear calipers on the MR2. It's not so much a how-to video, I'd say it's probably a more of things that are a right pain in the backside, to be honest, and how I had to overcome them. Okay, tip number one, spray everything you're going to take off nut and bolt wise with plus gas or WD-40. I did this for a few occasions over 2 days before I was going to take everything off. I sprayed pretty liberally everywhere because all the existing brake linings, so the discs and the pads, were getting taken off and binned, so it didn't matter if they got contaminated. But if you're reusing yours, obviously be a bit careful. By far the biggest problem I had initially was getting the rear caliper off of the pin. Now the pin where it pivots on the right hand side is amazing, to be honest. I had any rear brakes at all because the caliper was seized at that point. It would just not move, and what I ended up doing, I sprayed it with plus gas, and in the end, through sheer frustration, I just started beating on that thing with a dead blow hammer, and in the end other hammers. It was a real pain, and part of the reason why my brakes got an advisory on the MOT, which we have in the UK on cars every year after they're 3 years old. It was just a case of hammering, freeing it up, spraying in some more plus gas into the space there, and just working it free, and it took quite a while. This side was by far the worst. The driver's side was a bit easier. And you're probably looking and thinking, well, no wonder it's coming off. It's not coming off, rather, because the discs there, you haven't been able to take the disc off. But I couldn't actually take the disc off because I couldn't get that damn caliper off. Now that point there that you see, that's where the handbrake cable behind that metal bar there comes around to the caliper, and you can see it wiggling up and down. The pin that holds that onto the caliper had seized on also. So I was able to remove the caliper with that still attached. You have to give it a bit of a lever behind the tie bar or whatever that is that comes at 45-degree angle to the hub, but you can get it past that if you can't remove the brake handbrake cable. This is what I was talking about here. The next thing was the handbrake, where it joins there. There's under that, where the arrow is, there's a pin, a little guide pin. You pull that out, and then that pin comes up from the top there. That pin on both sides was properly seized in there. How I ended up getting it out was I actually heated that thing up with a blowtorch and did all kinds of stuff. I soaked it over a couple of days in plus gas. And then once I managed to get the calipers off, I put a socket underneath it so the pin could drop out from the bottom, and I basically just punched that thing through, and that enabled it to pop through the bottom there. When I put them back in, I put some grease on those, and I just sanded those up a bit to let them go back in there quite happily, and they've been fine after that. So originally pulled the brake, all the brake calipers off, and was doing a refresh, and I painted them up so they look better. And then when I took them off, found that the boot on that one side for the slider pin had a slight tear in it, and that's the result. That was just locked on there. So went to Toyota, bought the replacement parts, all nice new shiny stuff, and set about repairing the caliper, only to find that the piston would not withdraw back into it. On the rears you have to use a tool to wind them clockwise back into the caliper, and the piston was seized. So I could have taken it off and stripped it apart, but I need the car working. So we're going on holiday soon, going away, and yeah, I haven't really got the time to be stripping down the caliper, so enter a nice shiny new caliper. Bought this from brakeparts.co.uk for £71, and that's not an exchange price, that is the price. So yeah, £71. I think it was £5 delivery next day, so that's not so bad. Does come with the you know, all these sort of parts here for the money, very good. And they also give you a new set of clips and silicone grease. So all I need to do now is just clean up this pin here and lubricate that. It goes in there like so, and then that can all go back on the car and we'll have a working caliper. Okay, rookie mistake here. When I started putting it all back together, in my excitement of getting it all back together so I could actually use the car, it had been on axle stands for several weeks, I actually forgot that I need to put the brake disc on first. So don't do what I did here and put the caliper on first and then put a brake disc on, and pretty much find you cannot do that. Put the brake disc on first, and when you put it on, get the wheel nuts and do them up finger tight, because you need the brake disc to be nice and flat to the hub there and straight, especially if you're going to be bleeding brake calipers and things like that. As I say, in my defence, I'd missed quite a few I'd missed a couple of car meets. I wanted to use the MR2 for a holiday we were going on. I didn't manage to do that, and it got pretty frustrating. But I will say this, do remember, I'd never attempted anything of this sort of complexity with brakes before, so believe me when I say to you, have a go. You can do these things, just take your time, do a bit of research, watch some videos like this one, and you'll be fine. You know, I even surprised myself, and I saved myself a ton of money doing it myself. And it was also a great learning experience as well. I learned how the brakes actually work, the component parts and everything. It was really good, so do have a go yourself. So final problem I had is, remember that little handbrake connection? I connected that all back up lovely, and then if you have a look at the fork looking thing there, which the handbrake cable locks behind, the cable you'll see there is quite tight. And the reason for that is the previous owner had adjusted it up, and I didn't have enough slack then on a new working caliper to be able to get that behind there. So I ended up having to take the center console off and adjusting the handbrake, slacking the cables off from that end, and that will be the next video. So thanks for watching, remember to subscribe, and I'll see you again on the next video. Goodbye for now.